Hi everybody. Today we're looking at the fourth Beatitude, which is found in Matthew chapter 5 verse 6. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, they will be filled. The first part I want to look at is the idea of being hungry and thirsty. Not after physical food and drink, but after spiritual food and drink. Most of us in this country don't truly know much about physical hunger and thirst. However, we do throw the word starving around when we've only maybe missed one meal. In contrast, those who were listening to Jesus 2,000 years ago would certainly know what it was like to feel real hunger. This may have been due to oppressive Roman rule or the unreliability of the harvest, but they would have known what it was like at some time to long with every fibre of their being for either water or food. Jesus is using this relatable image as a metaphor. He's talking of a deep, all-consuming longing, but a longing for something other than food. Jesus says, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness." But what is righteousness? Often I think that we assume it's the achievement of some perfect and unnatural state. We sometimes associate righteousness, or perhaps self-righteousness, with pride. But righteousness is more simple and far more broad than that. Righteousness is having all things set right. When there is righteousness in the world, then all things will be in right relationship with one another. Jesus says in this beatitude that one who is hungering and thirsting for righteousness is blessed. He's referring to those people who ache to see things made right in all places. The desire is so deep, so intense, that they feel they cannot live without it. The person that Jesus is talking about here is longing to see, for example, justice in their land, relationships full of joy, blessing and peace around them. I remember as a sixth form student watching the film Cry Freedom about the life and death of Steve Biko, set in South Africa. This first opened my eyes to the injustice of apartheid and gave me a desire to add my voice to those who wished apartheid to be ended. Later in my 20s, I campaigned with those who wished to cancel the crippling and unjust debts of the developing world in the lead up to the millennium. Today, I think of those who are speaking out on the streets of Myanmar against the coup, those desiring democracy in Hong Kong, and those who wish our streets to be safe for women. Today, they are the ones who are hungering for righteousness. But if righteousness is about right relationships, we should also hunger for right living in the small things as well as the big. Very often our culture expects us not to be offended by cutting remarks of others, since being offended or hurt is a sign of weakness. People talk about the importance of developing a thick skin. As a result, it's likely that we do not consider it a blessed state to be physically aching over the unrighteousness of the words and actions that we see around us or of ourselves. We might fear being teased about being too soft. But here, Jesus encourages us to be deeply desirous of seeing relationships and people made right, and to know that this is a sign of God's work in our lives. Finally, I think that one of the most encouraging part of this Beatitudes is the last four words: they will be filled. It's okay for us to hunger for righteousness, because someday we will be satisfied. Satisfied means sated, full up. We'll lose this longing and it'll be replaced with complete and total satisfaction. While we still see injustice and pain and evil in our world now, the Christian faith said that this is not the final chapter. For me, the promise of the coming kingdom of God presents a truth and a hope that someday we will finally see all things set right. Its completion is to come. However, we can work together to start to build it now. And that is what we do when we hunger and thirst for righteousness. Bless you all. Take care.